U.S. Marine Corps Gunnery Sergeant Carlos Norman Hathcock. Snipers are first and foremost about precision, secondly about skill and experience. Carlos Hathcock had all that and then some. His service was so legendary that a rifle was named after him, the M25 White Feather. The world is made up of two kinds of men, the ones who spend time deciding who they want to be in the world and the ones who are born knowing. Carlos Hathcock knew from a very early age what he wanted to become. He wanted to be a soldier. He dreamed of fighting for his country. In 1959, at age 17, Hathcock pursued this dream and enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps. His uncanny talent as a marksman was quickly recognized by his superiors at the rifle range while he was in recruit training at Camp Pendleton. In 1966, Hathcock was deployed to Vietnam and worked as a military policeman, but destiny had a different job in mind for him. Captain Edward James Land had convinced the Marines to employ snipers for every platoon, then began recruiting Marines who had set records in sharpshooting. Impressed with Hathcock's achievements, he quickly asked him to join. Hathcock completed his training with more ease than most and was immediately sent on assignment. He very quickly became enemy number one for the NVA. He ran up a kill count so high that eventually a $30,000 bounty was placed on his head. To put this in perspective, the usual reward for U.S. snipers was between $2,000 and $8,000. Hathcock was different. He and his rifle proved so destructive that the NVA believed it crucial to kill him for the sake of its own troops. He was in a league of his own. Every single marksman who made an attempt on his life ended up a corpse. The Viet Cong gave Hathcock a nickname, Long Trang, or White Feather, because of the white feather he kept on his hat. It's said that he wore the feather as a taunt to the communists to come find him. At one point, a platoon of Vietnamese snipers was sent to hunt him down. In response, other Marines in the area also wore white feathers in their hats so as to confuse the counter-snipers. These Marines were aware of the impact Hathcock's death would have and took it upon themselves to make sure they didn't lose him. It worked. As a result of Hathcock's impeccable record, he was recruited twice for covert assignments. One was a mission to kill a Frenchman working alongside the North Vietnamese and torturing captured American airmen, which made Hathcock understandably furious. He took the man out with one round from his revised Winchester Model 70. Before the next covert mission, he was told very candidly by his superiors that his survival chances were slim to none. This time the target was a North Vietnamese general. A difficult feat for most, but not for Hathcock. The general was swiftly killed from 800 yards by one of Hathcock's bullets. His precision was unreal, almost unnatural. In one absolutely unprecedented incident in the jungle near Hill 55, southwest of Da Nang, an enemy sniper known as Cobra was sent to kill Hathcock. After a long, drawn-out game of cat and mouse between Hathcock, his spotter, and the enemy sniper, Hathcock shot the final round from 500 yards, which flew right through the enemy sniper's rifle scope and penetrated the man through his eye. Before he considered the mission completed, however, Hathcock seized the enemy's sniper rifle as a trophy and took it back with him to be turned over and tagged. Mysteriously, however, the rifle was stolen from the armory not soon after. In 1967, Hathcock set the record for the longest sniper kill. He killed a Viet Cong guerrilla using an M2.50 caliber Browning machine gun mounted with a telescopic sight at an impressive range of 2,500 yards. There was only one instance during his whole career in which Hathcock took off his white feather. This was during a volunteer mission only a few days before the end of his first deployment, and he was not told any specifics of the mission until he had accepted the challenge. He was to shoot and kill a NVA general. This took a grueling 4 days and 3 nights. No sleep, barely any food, just crawling. He had to crawl over 1,500 yards, slowly, inch by inch. He said that at one point he was almost stepped on while he lay camouflaged in a meadow just before sunset. Later, a bamboo viper nearly bit him, but he still managed to keep up his position. Hathcock fired a single shot as the general was exiting his encampment and got him right in the chest, killing him on the spot. That was his last mission before he returned to the U.S. in 1967. Yet he couldn't stay away for long. He missed the Marines too much. Hathcock returned to Vietnam in 1969 and took command of a platoon of snipers. This tour changed his life forever. On September 16, 1969, he was riding in an armored vehicle along Highway 1 just north of landing zone Baldy when the vehicle struck an anti-tank mine. Recovering first from the devastating explosion, Hathcock pulled 7 Marines from the flames and consequently suffered severe burns on his face, arms, and legs, some of which were 3rd degree. A fellow soldier pulled him out and dunked him in water. He and the 7 Marines he saved were then evacuated by helicopter and taken immediately to the hospital ship USS Repose, then to a naval hospital in Tokyo, and they ultimately ended up at the burn center in San Antonio, Texas. Hathcock received a Purple Heart while in recovery from the tragedy, but it was not until 30 years later that he received a Silver Star for his actions on that day. His Silver Star citation reads, "With complete disregard for his own safety and while suffering excruciating pain from his burns, he bravely ran back through the flames and exploding ammunition to ensure that no Marines had been left behind in the burning vehicle." His heroic actions were instrumental in saving the lives of several Marines. After discharge from the burn center, Hathcock returned to active duty and was instrumental in establishing the Marine Corps South Sniper School in Quantico, Virginia. The pain from the injuries constantly hounded him, but his fortitude and dedication to his trade kept him teaching sniper recruits up until his health failed. Hathcock was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and, in 1979, was granted a permanent disability. During the war, Hathcock racked up 93 confirmed kills. Kills had to be confirmed by the sniper's spotter and by a third party, who had to be an officer. But snipers usually did not have a third party present, making confirmation impossible, especially when the target was behind enemy lines. Hathcock himself estimated that the real number was between 300 and 400 enemy personnel. He once said that he survived his work because of his ability to get in the bubble and put himself in a state of utter, complete, absolute concentration. After the war was long over, a friend read Hathcock a passage written by the great Ernest Hemingway, "Certainly there is no hunting like the hunting of man, and those who have hunted armed men long enough and like it, never really care for anything else thereafter." He copied Hemingway's words down on a piece of paper and said, "He got that right, it was the hunt, not the killing." In White Feather, Carlos Hathcock, USMC Scout Sniper, he said, "I like shooting, and I love hunting. But I never did enjoy killing anybody. It's my job. If I don't get those bastards, then they're gonna kill a lot of these kids dressed up like Marines. That's the way I look at it." In retirement, Hathcock taught counter-sniper techniques to police departments and select military units, including the SEAL Team 6. He died in 1999 in Virginia Beach, Virginia, from complications from multiple sclerosis and was buried at Woodlawn Memorial Gardens in Norfolk, Virginia. To read Carlos Hathcock's full story plus 30 other heart-stopping war hero accounts, please check out the book, Giant Killers, War Heroes and Special Forces Legends, available now on Amazon. God bless our vets.